people around her. When they posted stuff on the screen that was mean, it was resharing what Jen had already said. So, and you know, that's when Heather said, well, thank you. Thank you for doing, and it's like, girl, what are you mad about? You're on a reality show. All your shit is going to live on repeat forever. So me and the other people resharing stuff, like, get out of the reality TV world then if you don't like that.
Right. It kind of comes, it's par for the course, right?
Mm-hmm.
When did you want to say something like then, like at the reunion when they're showing all these, you know, screenshots and you're like, this isn't really Von Teese? Or did you? I mean, we all know how editing works.
I did say that. Yes. I did say that. It was not shown. I was like, that's not even reality Von Teese. That's not from that page. Da-da-da-da-da. But yeah, I mean, a lot of stuff is edited out. And
right.
Yeah.
And we all know how it works.
Mm-hmm.
Did you... I mean, now that this is said and done, right?
Yeah.
Like, what are your overall, putting reality Von Teese aside for a minute, you know, like, what was your experience just like overarching on the show? Like, how would you describe the whole experience? And it's a loaded question.
It really honestly is. It's such a loaded question because I honestly feel like it wasn't terrible. Production was amazing. Bravo was amazing. Andy Cohen was amazing. The women were not. So, you know, and that's not even all of them. I think we all know who I'm talking about. But it's not easy to be the only new girl coming into this group of women. That wouldn't be easy for anyone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And yeah, it was definitely an uphill battle for sure.
I think it's hard, right? Like when you're a newbie on a cast of, you know, and we'll take Angie out of it for a second because she was new, but not really, you know, you're really.
Definitely not really. She was there from season 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you're really coming into this group unknown, and that's hard anyway, even if this whole thing didn't happen.
Yeah. It's brutal. You know, it's kind of like you're the new kid on the playground, you know, and everyone's already established and they have this, you know, unity and bond, if you will. And so, yeah.
Did you feel like, do you regret anything with reality Von Teese? Like, do you feel?
Of course.
Okay.
Yeah, 100%. I mean.
And I'm not saying you should.
Oh, no, but I do. Do I regret everything? I mean, to be completely honest, yeah. I really actually do. It happened and there's nothing I can do to change that. So you just have to own it. But if I could go back, I would redo it. Absolutely. Because, I mean, look what happened. And I don't think I was myself completely in that situation. I definitely let it overtake me. All of us did. I think all of us in that situation behaved in a way that we wouldn't be proud of. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It just kind of became this big monster, you know?
It became this big monster, you know. Was it, you know, because it was implied, you know, in the finale and afterwards, you know, that this was your master plan. You know, your master plan was to befriend Jen, you know, and that's why I really asked about like the timeline, you know, because it was implied, you know, that like to befriend her.
Yeah.
You know, I think people, look, it was possibly one of the best hours of reality TV ever.
It was intense,
I feel reality, you know, and I do this for a living, and I'm not just saying this because you're sitting next to me. I have talked about this on this podcast many times, like, I think it's the greatest thing ever, personally, just from an entertainment point of view.
Yeah.
You know,
it was great. Yeah, it was. I mean,
and
like,
not even at your expense. I think people are, you know, but so like there is this, you know, narrative out there that, right, like you were this mastermind of like, let me start this account, you know, befriend Jen, work for her, get her put away, which we all know was in motion way before this reality show.
Like a decade.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. So that doesn't even work out timeline wise because we didn't even decide to start that account until after we had already been through some crazy experiences with Jen Shah and we were already out and away from Jen Shah. So it's not like I went into this with this mastermind plan. I didn't know she was going to be how she was. I had no idea she was going to treat people how she treated people. I didn't know she was doing the things she was doing illegally. I had no idea. So it'd be impossible for me to plan that. As far as you had this mastermind to get on the show, I didn't know Jen was on the show when I first met her. I did find it out like, I don't know, a few weeks after knowing her, after doing the WAP video that, you know, oh my God, that lives on the internet. Also,
that lives on the internet.
Oh my gosh, that's a regret. But you know, she did end up telling me, it did end up coming out, and I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with wanting to be on the show. I don't think that's something to be ashamed for. I think anybody would take an opportunity that they feel like would better their situation.
Yeah, I mean, like, you're living in Salt Lake, you're there, you are.
Yeah. Well, and Heather Gray herself has said she was the biggest Bravo fan. She was the biggest Housewives fan, like, forever, for years and years and years before being on the show. Like, what is wrong with that? What's wrong with that? Honestly, I would love to know.
Well, I feel, from my opinion, is you are very honest. I mean, even though you were associated with this account, you know, not all housewives are. You know, I think there's this image that they want to put out.
Yeah. And I think it's funny because, you know, they want to, you know, burn me at the stakes for this account, but are we really going to act like they've never had a burner account or been behind a page or fed blogs information or leaked stories to pages? Like, come on. Come on.
Right.
You know?
And I mean, do you think that's just the world we live in, right? Because like the OC has been on, RHOC, Real Housewives of Orange County, for 18 years. Like Vicki Gunvalson was 43 when she started. She's 61 now.
So crazy.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, it's just a different world. Like, we are in a world where, like, I think everybody getting on the show is possibly a fan. I mean, look, there's a lot of accounts associated with a lot of franchises.
I think that the big difference here was my best friend happened to be Heather Gay's hairdresser. And that kind of completely changed how things were portrayed and how information was given. I think, you know, also what affected it is they felt, I mean, they said it themselves. They felt like I didn't belong. You know, Heather Gay said she wants higher caliber women on the show. I mean, so do I. I think that we should probably have women on the show that don't piss themselves in buses, you know, because they're so fucking drunk. Let's get higher caliber than that. I don't know. Also, that lives on the internet forever as well.
That does live on the internet forever as well.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, so when Heather's saying things like that, you know, towards you about like, we want higher caliber, you know, and we also, you know, you opened up, you show your story.
Yeah.
You know, when you bought the Louis Vuitton. I mean, how does that, I mean, that's the thing. Like, is there this double standard of you did something so bad?
There absolutely is. Because, like, Heather, when she first started the show, she was very open about, I started in debt. I had nothing. She was cutting off the tags to her Zara clothes. So we're not that different. The only difference is I left my tags on and I owned it. And she tried to hide it, which is on par.
Right. I felt you owned pretty much everything. Really.
I think it's sad, honestly, to come into a group or any kind of situation where you are trying to